Hi, my name is Benjamin Potter, and in my last video entitled Worship Pedalboard on a Budget, I explained that I was primarily an acoustic guitar player, but every once in a while got to play electric and just kind of wanted to show you the rig that I was using. And since that time, I've actually had a job change that's required me to move and change churches. And now I'm primarily an electric guitar player at the church that I go to, and that change has kind of prompted some upgrades to my pedal board. So I just kind of wanted to show you what I'm using now. The first four pedals are actually were in my last video, so I'm not going to go into a whole lot of detail with them. But I start out over here on the right with the Ernie Ball VPjr volume pedal. It's pretty straightforward. And from there, I go into a DoD compressor sustainer that I use mostly just for holding out chords, just providing sustain. Or if I'm doing a clean riff, I'll punch it in and kind of help the clean tone just kind of punch through a little bit. Then I go into a Dan Electro Pastrami Overdrive that I use mostly just as a solo boost. And from there, I go into the Boss SD1, which is my main overdrive. And from there, I go into a Boss Digital Delay DD7. I used to have a RD1, Delta Lab RD1 rock distortion pedal here, but I didn't use it a whole lot. And I'm using, you can see up here that I'm using the Line 6 Pod 2.0 kind of as my amp. It's an amp modeler. And kind of go into more detail on that in my other video if you want to check it out. But basically, I was using the pod for my delays, and what happens is when you can tap a delay tone into the delay tempo into the pod, but it only gives you back the quarter note. So whatever you tap is what you get back. And then if you change settings, if you change tones, when you go back to that delay tone, it doesn't save the tempo that you last tapped. It saves the tempo that you last actually pushed the save button at. So you can't change tempos on stage, change tones, and then go back to the tone and have the same delay tempo that you tapped in. So I went ahead and got the Boss DD7 with the external tap pedal. Great delay pedal if you need one. I would highly recommend it. It has quarter note, eighth note, dotted eighth note, triplet, all kind of different repeat options. It has an analog, reverse, and modulate setting. I'm not crazy about any of those, but if you only need it for a song here or there, they can be functionable. And it also has a 40-second looper, which I haven't used on stage, but I've used in practice, and it works great. So great delay pedal if you need one. And from there, where I used to go to a chorus pedal, I actually picked up the Line 6 M5 Stomp Box modeler. And what I was finding is that there would be, the church that I play at, there'd be 2 or 3 songs in the rotation where I'd want kind of an octave pog type thing. A couple songs where I would want a padded reverb type thing. Maybe a song that I would want a wah pedal for. And rather than paying, about $100 or so, or, for a pog even way more than that, for, an individual pedal that I'm going to use for, 5 or 6 weeks out of the year, I decided to get this. And what it does is it has 100 different stomp boxes built into it that you can recall and use one at a time. So for the week that I want a octave pog type thing, I can pull up the octave setting and use it. For the couple weeks that I want a padded reverb type thing, I can pull up a setting for that. For the week that I want a tremolo pedal, I've got tremolo. For the week that I want a wah, I can pull up a wah. And it actually has an expression pedal output, which is probably the next thing that I'm going to get for it, is an expression pedal that will allow you to use as a wah pedal, or to change some of the other parameters of the effects in real time while you're using it. So it's just a really great pedal with a whole bunch of different functions and options in it. And then the weeks that I don't need anything crazy or special or anything out of it, it's got some usable overdrive settings in it that I can use for an added gain stage, or it's got a boost in there that I can use for a solo boost. So even if I don't need it for a special tone, it's usually I'm usually going to get some use out of it for something. So anyway, let me go ahead and put the camera down and show you some of the tones that I'm getting. Alright, so here's just my main clean tone. Again, I'm going through a Pod 2.0 using a Marshall Plexi sound. Kick on my main overdrive. And some delay. And here's some stuff that I use the M5 for. This is that octave reverb setting. Kind of use some compression to kind of help punch it through. This is just a really spacey reverb with octave kind of tone in it. Swells with it. Okay, and what the M5 does is it gives you, if you push the two foot switches together, you can scroll through some presets. So here is just an octave tone. This channel on my pod here has a lot of reverb on it, so I can do kind of a... kind of a wah thing. Again, if I had an expression pedal, I could actually use it as a wah pedal. Here's an example. This is got some great delays on it. It has a really good analog delay if you need an analog delay. This is actually called a sweeping delay. And again, it has a tap pedal over here so you can tap in your tempos. And let's see. I thought that was kind of one of the more unique settings that it has. Here's just a tremolo. And then some of the, I guess, maybe less exciting things that I'll use this for is I just have a overdrive setting. Where is it? This is just a tube driver setting that I'll use. This is it by itself. Most of the time when I use it, I'll use it with the SD1 kind of as an added gain stage. That's just a tube driver. It has another setting on there called Screamer that kind of emulates a tube screamer. That actually it's a really great overdrive, but it sounds super similar to my SD1. And when you stack them together, because both of them kind of have that mid boost, the mids just kind of jump out at you and kind of bite you. So I use the tube driver on the M5 because it kind of complements the SD1 better. But if I was going to get the M5 and use it just for a main overdrive, I'd probably use the Screamer setting. It's got a really great tone to it. And then one of the last things that I'll use this for is just as a solo boost. So it kind of gives you... And so that's the pedal board that I am currently using. Probably the only thing I really see myself adding in the near future is probably an expression pedal. I may eventually switch out the Dan Electro for a booster pedal, but right now, pretty happy with it, and it's working really well. So anyway, thank you for watching.